Ange dropped an absolute coaching clinic on Monday Night Football, and I know Tottenham never got the result when it was all said and done. Chelsea go home, the 4-1 victors, but Tottenham come into this game with all the pressure, all the expectation on their shoulders, sitting top of the league, being at home, former manager coming to town. It had all the narratives going. It promised to have fireworks, as Monday Night Football normally does. The extra scrutiny, the extra VAR decisions that always tend to come when the TV cameras are on was always going to be there, and it was always going to be a case of let's see how it pans out. Well, the tactics of Postecoglou against the kind of top 4 veteran of the Premier League, Pochettino, how will they kind of combat against each other, and can Ange Ball outdo Mopo, kind of outdeal Pochball, or whatever we call that? And from where I'm sitting, I think it's clear to see whether it was 11, 10 or 9 men that Tottenham had on the pitch. They were the ones that were dictating the terms of engagement, how this game was going to be played, and ultimately for the team that actually had the deficiency on the pitch in terms of the head count, they actually made Chelsea work much harder to get their shots on target. In the video today, we're going to be talking about what impressed me about this match so much, and why I'm now extra convinced that Ange Ball, Tottenham, they can do it all in the Premier League this season and for the foreseeable future. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel. We're pushing for 10,000 subscribers, and we cannot do that without your support, guys. So if you do enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button for more, and jump into the comment section and let me know what I've got wrong, what you think I've got right, and anything else in between. I always enjoy getting into the comment sections after these videos, and I'm sure this one will be epic. Let's just get stuck straight into it. Now, it was clear to see from the off that Pochettino decided that he was going to try and play this game down the right-hand side. He was going to try and play his team with a lot of pace and try and play the ball into space as often as possible, anticipating that Udogie would be coming in to this kind of central zone here to support the likes of Maddison, Bissouma, Pape Sarr, and making a box midfield to try and create possession, to create an overload. He's also very good at getting into the final third himself, but they were going to try and use Reece James and Raheem Sterling on this side here to support Nicholas Jackson and getting into that pocket of space. Maybe the likes of Enzo and Caicedo, could they play balls into those channels for those guys to run on and counter-attack into? So that was the game plan that they came into the match with. That was their primary route to go, the main way they were going to try and create chances against Tottenham, being the away team. They're expecting to forfeit possession, and that's the way that they're going to go about it. Now, the key to being able to do this is between these kind of players here, your centre-backs, maybe you can bring Colwell into this conversation as well, and your midfield, that they need to be good enough on the ball in tight spaces to resist the press from the front three, maybe Sarr, Maddison, whoever else comes up to support it. They need to be able to get in here in no man's land, really, be able to play with the ball, be able to be brave, and then be able to find the opportunity to pick their head up and find the man in space, because as Tottenham do press this area and make it harder and harder to keep on the ball, there is overload somewhere else for your team, and that's when you're hoping the likes of Gallagher, Caicedo, Enzo can actually play that ball out there, and that's going to be their main route to go, like we mentioned, is playing into those little channels. But time and time again, the likes of Udogie and Maddison in particular interchanged and dropped into different roles where they could get on the ball freely. Quite often we've seen Maddison drop in to get the ball from the defence and try and play a ball that would break through a line, maybe help itself onto Udogie or Sarr, Kulusevski, these types of guys, and get the ball very quickly into the final third. So Chelsea's midfield defensively were kind of taken out of the equation, and when they even got on the ball, I don't feel that they really influenced the tempo of the game, and a big part of that was down to what you expect to see from Tottenham. They're going to make this kind of shape in the middle of the pitch, and they're going to do their best to play the ball quickly, play it forward, and force the opposition to do things they don't want to do. In essence, having Colwell covering in on the left-hand side here was great for Kulusevski to get the opening goal in the first 6 minutes. You're really allowing a guy like this to come in and get that shot away by pairing him up against a centre-back, in essence, someone that's not going to naturally hold that width. And I think this goal was pivotal, of course, for Tottenham to be able to hold their style of play throughout the 90 minutes as comfortably as they did, tactically, in my opinion. And how good is this? The guys at QuinnBet have enhanced their UK welcome offer, where you can now get a free bet up to £35. It's for new customers that sign up only. You can check out the full terms and conditions on the website, QuinnBet.com, or by clicking on the link that's in the description of this video. By clicking on that link and signing up to create your account directly, you get that free bet and you support all the content here at the channel. So I thank you in advance if you do so. It looks really impressive to me, but it is 18 plus, and remember, folks, always gamble responsibly. The main talking points do come on the 33-minute mark, but Romero gets sent off and Brennan Johnson needs to make way for Eric Dyer. This is where the story starts for me, because the formation that Tottenham take up here is a 4-3-2. Okay, now conventional wisdom would often say you go 4-4-1, you go two banks of four, you drop nice and deep, and you play percentages. Let them try and fight the ball through here, try and make them work really hard to get the ball into a wide area, to play for a cross in 50-50s and hope your goalkeeper can grab everything. But if you remember Caicedo's goal that got chopped off, you know, it's a shot from the edge of the box, a deflection that goes in. That's the sort of opportunity that is law of averages. If you give a team the opportunity to take 45 shots, they're going to score 3 or 4 goals, you know. So as soon as they go down to 10 men, they're not giving up the ghost, in my opinion, in playing this conventional wisdom style 4-4-1. They keep it man for man in midfield, and they keep it 4 versus 3 in defence like was originally intended. And again, even though Chelsea have got a numerical advantage here, Tottenham, by keeping this shape, are forcing that pentagon to stay deep in their own half. They're keeping their playmakers in Chelsea's defensive part of the pitch, and they're making it just as difficult with 10 men as they did when it was 11 for Chelsea to find that ball out into these really narrow channels. The first half rolls on for 13 minutes, and even when it was 11 versus 10, for me, Tottenham were really just limiting Chelsea's opportunities to create any dominance in the match, despite having an extra man. By keeping the offside line so high, yes, you're giving them half the pitch, but you're making them run half the length of the pitch to be able to actually get a shot away. And if you've got a one-man tactical advantage, whenever you're doing this, you don't get to exercise it, because you're still going to have your 3 defenders that can't keep up with play, and you're not going to have all 3 midfielders keep up with it either. So if Tottenham can recover with Dyer, Van de Ven, Udogie, Porro, Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison, their numerical advantage counts for much, much less. Now, eventually, it is a ball into one of these channels, and it's an Udogie, Van de Ven, and ultimately it does get caught out. And, you know, the second yellow card, they're both yellow card offences. It's definitely a man down situation for them. But this is where, for me, I just get super impressed with the level that Ange has got this team to absolutely operate at. So at this point in the game, Tottenham go down to 9 men. We see Royale move out to left back, Højbjerg come into centre back, and with a substitution to Sarr for Bentancur and Kulusevski for Skip, Tottenham are doing their absolute best to keep the game state the way it's been going the entire match, limiting Chelsea to 50-50 balls that Vicario is doing an amazing job of doing a bit of sweeper-keeper for. 6 or 7 times in this match, the guy was an absolute hero, not just at saving when the ball was in his zone here, but Chelsea, if you're going to be playing those balls into those zones, they have to be high, they have to be long, they have to have pace on them. And if you've got a goalkeeper that's ready, willing and able, your defence can trust him, the manager trusts him, everyone trusts him to do it. He didn't make any mistakes from it either, as far as I can remember. Then that's a great defensive strategy. And I don't think Chelsea looked comfortable at any stage of this match at this point. And with Enzo coming on for Mudryk, Pochettino is begging his players to get on the outside and try and double up into the wide areas as much as possible. We've seen Chelsea play a few balls, and yeah, they sprung 1 or 2 counter-attacks where they did get in and get a few shots away. But you've got to remember, at this point, Tottenham have got 9 men, Chelsea have 11. Chelsea should be on the ball. They should be able to control it, play some passes, make Tottenham retreat, make Tottenham defend their box. But Tottenham are doing such a good job of pressing with Son, with keeping their midfield strong, and, you know, like, Skip doesn't have the recovery speed, Bentancur doesn't have the recovery speed, but they're kind of positionally doing an okay enough job. But they've got Højbjerg. This is what really needs to be emphasised here. This defence of Royale, Dyer, Højbjerg and Porro, we're still doing the same job that Van de Ven, Romero, Udogie were doing in the beginning of the game, and that's defending Chelsea on the counter-attack in these little channels, and they were still doing a fantastic job of it. Legs died out, these guys are way quicker, and overall the test of time got the better of them in the match. But Tottenham, for me, throughout this game, were in with a shot of getting something. When it was, you know, level pegging, they could have went on and won this game, and when they weren't winning, they could have still come back and got a draw, because Chelsea never dominated this game. Chelsea never looked like dominating this game, and for me, this is like a real stress test for Ange Ball, for his tactics, for his philosophy in the Premier League, because if you can do this, look at the team that finished the game for the last, when were the subs made? 60 minutes. So the game finished, we had 13 minutes added on in the first half, but in the second half, we only had 10 minutes added on. if memory serves me right. So Skip and Bentancur played the thick end of 40 minutes, basically, in this match, which was Højbjerg, Dyer, Royale, and Porro in defence for that length of time as well, against an 11-man Chelsea. Then I think, really, honestly, the sky's the limit for this Tottenham team, because if this was Romero and Van de Ven, for me, even if it was 9 versus 11, I think Tottenham gets something out of this game. Van de Ven obviously breaks down in one of those recovery runs, a very bad kind of hamstring pull. I hope it's not a long injury. And yeah, we can definitely lay a lot of the blame for Chelsea's ineptitude at the door of Pochettino, and probably a lot of the players individually as well, because they looked clueless. They were 11 versus 9. They really should have taken Tottenham to the sword, and I agree with everyone that says that. But you also have to admit, if at that point it's 10 versus 11, you're losing, 11 versus 9, you're losing, whatever it might be, you're expecting to lose the game by 4 goals when it's 11 versus 9 in the Premier League. The gap should be so much so that the 11-man team should be dominating the ball, creating chances at will, raining down shots on target, and eventually they should get like 3 or 4 goals. But Chelsea were very lucky to actually achieve that, and they were very close to not achieving that, and they were very close to not getting a victory in this match, and in which case the whole perspective, the whole narrative of this game turns, and I don't think that's fair at all on Ange, and I really fear for everyone else in the Premier League for when this squad gets buffed up a lot. I did a video on Tottenham a few days ago talking about this run of fixtures they've got, starting with Chelsea. Going into the next 6 or 7 matches, they're playing all the big boys, and with how thin their squad obviously is when you look at it, before we see that Romero's going to be suspended and Udogie for a match, maybe Van de Ven's injured for a number of months, they have to go and buy people. But how motivated will Tottenham be to spend money in the January transfer window, for me, will be decided by their performances and their results against Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, West Ham, all these big games that are coming up. And I think even though this game is a 4-1 loss to Tottenham, everyone at the Tottenham Hotspur training pitch today or tomorrow or whatever, they're going to have fire going through their veins thinking Chelsea only just beat us 9 versus 11, and they're going to go through the rest of this season stronger after this game. No two ways about it. I don't think you can say the same thing for Chelsea. There's no way they can be going into their training ground and feeling good about that result at all. They only just about got there, and they were clueless throughout. They couldn't take advantage of a 2-man deficit. So that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. On screen now is that other Tottenham video that I just mentioned, as well as something else that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and retweet, and all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.